going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. We're going to try something different and new and exciting here on the channel. We're going to rank every single card in Clash Royale. This says June 2020, but trust me, it has all the cards. I already checked. So we're not going to make this just based off of like win percentages, because it would be easy to essentially just kind of bracket everything based on win and use percentages. We're going to kind of value all of these cards in a vacuum in terms of how good they are right now when used in their kind of their most potential and their best potential and the best light. So let's go ahead and jump to it here. All right, we got that started out. I'm joking. E-barbs, unfortunately, are all the way down in the F tier. Womp womp. This card needs a rework. If you guys have any great ideas on any reworks for F cards, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Who knows if they'll watch, but I will send this video to Supercell and tell them to read the comments. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and put Three Muskies in the A tier. I love Three Musketeers right now. They have about, I said that I wasn't gonna rank this all on win percentage, but they have about a 54% win rate game-wide. That's including ladder and grand challenges right now. And I personally am playing Three Musketeers. You saw a couple videos ago. Love that deck right now. And I think they're incredibly viable for the first time in a long time. Arrows, I'm going to put right in the B tier. I think they're a very solid spell, but they're not just incredible in terms of the same level as some of the other spells we'll be talking about in this video. Archers are really solid, but again, they're not very used. They're only 3% use rate in the game right now. Their win percentage is right around 50-50, so we're going to put them right in C tier. Balloon right now. So Balloon is actually really solid. Lava Loon is semi-popular. I'm going to put Balloon in the B tier. I think that Balloon is not certainly doesn't need a nerf in my opinion, but it's, you know, it's not S tier, but it's a more than viable win condition. It's a meta win condition. We still see a few Balloon cycle decks out there. Bandit, I'm going to put Bandit in the... I think that she was C tier, but now that Prince got a buff a couple months ago, I think she's B tier now because Bandit actually can counter the Prince. So Bandit is pretty solid in the B. Barbarian Hut is also B tier here. Barbarian Hut, especially all those Barbarian Hut graveyard decks and Barbarian Hut E-Golem decks, believe it or not, Barbarian Hut is top 5 win percentage card in the game. I don't think, in a vacuum, I guess by that logic, you could put it as an S or an A tier card. However, I just don't think, I think it's more indicative of the E-Golem and Graveyard, the cards along with it, than the card itself, okay? Barbarians, I'm going to put in the C tier. I think the Barbarians are still an amazing defensive option or a spell bait option. Bats are S tier. The first S tier card that we use, that we announce in this video, it's going to be Bats, dude. Bats are so good inside this game right now. I don't know if they need a nerf, but you could definitely make the argument they do. I'm not going to make that argument because I love Bats. They put out so much DPS. They require an immediate response, especially when combined with a miner. They can defend and then counterattack again with the combination of the miner. But just in a nutshell, even if the opponent does have Zap, unless they're hovering it, they can get so much damage done even before they go ahead and place it. I think that Bats are one of the best cards in the game personally. Barbarian Barrel I'll put as A tier. I think it's just a great spell in general. I'm going to put the Baby Dragon as A tier as well. Both of these cards, Barbarian Barrel and the Baby D, I think they're both really solid, but they don't need like a nerf or anything like that. I think that, yeah, we'll go ahead. I don't want to foreshadow too much on Skeleton Dragons. Battle Healer. We're going to go ahead and give Battle Healer a C tier. Battle Healer is great with Elixir Golem. Take away Elixir Golem, I don't think Battle Healer is that great. She's very annoying. If we were going to tier this off on annoying cards, we put her right up here next to Bats. Bomber, we're going to go ahead and put in D tier. Bomber's only viable in Arena 1 or with that with the Golem deck, right? And I still think, you know, I'm going to bump him to C because in those Golem decks, in the decks that he is viable, I mean, especially against Royal Hogs, can get the job done, the little fella, right? It's just not, you're seeing still a below 1% use rate. So Bomb Tower, after the nerf to Bomb Tower, we really don't see it anymore, and this should be a great meta for the Bomb Tower too. If I was being kind, I'd put it in C, but D tier is looking pretty lonely.
That makes sense.
I'll put it in D right now. I just don't think that the Bomb Tower is what it used to be, okay? Bowler, I'm going to put in D tier as well. We see him in Splash Yard decks, but you know what? I'm put Bomb Tower up a little bit. Bomb Tower, you can still get value out of it. Some meta decks still run it. It's still not a bad card. So I'm going to put it in C. I think it's just replaced by better options, which we'll talk about in a minute. Next up, Battle Ram. Bowler, again, I feel like he does need a buff still. See him in Splash Yard, but that's about it. Battle Ram. Battle Ram is B tier. Great card. Great card. Let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit here. Ooh, Goblin Cage. It's either S or A, guys. How selective do I want to be for my S tier? I think that I'm going to put it in S tier. Goblin Cage is just an incredible... Anybody who plays Goblin Cage, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's top 5 win percentage in the game. It's top 3 win percentage. It's number 2 win percentage in grand challenges right now in the game. I think it's semi-new compared to the other most of the other cards in the game. So some people might not have it maxed out in terms of the same card level as their other cards. That's why its use rates are a little bit lower on ladder. All things being equal, though, I do think that Goblin Cage is probably the best defensive unit building in the game right now. So it belongs in S tier in my opinion. I'm going to put Cannon Cart in the C tier. Has very low use rates, top 5 lowest, or top 10, excuse me, lowest use rates in the game. That being said, I don't think it's a trash card. I don't know what to do with Cannon Cart, man. I would almost say that Cannon Cart should be 4 elixir and take its stats down. I think that the 5 elixir on Cannon Cart just makes it a little clunky at times. I don't know, that's my opinion. What's yours? Cannon is great in 2.6, not used anywhere else. So because of that, I'll put it in D tier. Clone is... niche. I don't know, man. I hate clone. I hate clone so much, guys. I'm gonna put it in D tier, but in truth, you know, it's probably just average. It's in C tier. It's a niche card, right? Kind of like I'm gonna put clone and freeze and rage all in C tier, you know, because I do believe that that's kind of, you know, I don't know. Dark Goblin, great against Graveyard. I think Dark Goblin is just a really solid card. I'm going to put it in A tier. I think the Dark Goblin has always been a little bit underrated, but he's in a lot of bait decks right now. He's just an incredible defensive card right now. And with the Firecracker seeing a lot lower use rates, down about 3%, which is about 1/3 use rates since the nerf to her knockback. I think that Dark Goblin's going to be, you know, making his way even more, and we're seeing that already early season. I'm going to put Dark Prince also in A tier, just a tremendous card defensively and on the counterattack. E-Drag is a little niche, but I still think it's solid. I'm going to put it in C tier here. I feel like C tier is pretty solid right now. Like, all these cards are good, but they're not OP or crazy. Actually, I could probably get rid of one of these tiers, right? Can we remove a tier? Yeah, let's just delete. Yeah, and I don't want to mess around with it. E-Golem, man. Oof. C tier. The reason C is because E-Golem is tremendous when he works, but if they have a good response to him, they have a really strong defense, if they have poison, whatever, then E-Golem is just awful. I mean, obviously it's giving your opponent elixir, and he's not as strong as he used to be before the subsequent, I think, 2 nerfs in a row we saw on E-Golem. So I think that E-Golem is still great in the right situation, but he's very rock, paper, scissors, very matchup dependent. So for that reason, I'll keep him out of B and put him in C tier. Earthquake is, again, in... I think after the nerf to Earthquake, I think it's probably relegated to C or D tier. Earthquake is great. They have a building. Other than that, you're kind of... it's C tier. I think it's a solid card with a slow, I guess. It's just not as good as it used to be. I think it used to be S or A tier, right? Ewiz is still amazing. I'll put him in A tier. Don't think he needs a nerf, but I do think he's a great card, especially defensively, enter the arena ability, all of it, you name it. Executioner will put in the C tier as well. C tier getting pretty clunky here, but this is basically like balanced, essentially. Maybe could make an argument needs a little buff, or yeah, a little buff. None of these cards really need a nerf, in my opinion. Fireball, we're going to put in, geez, all the spells we could pretty much put in S tier, or, you know, Fireball certainly in Poison. Firecracker, I feel like she's fallen to B tier. She used to be S. I don't think she's A tier anymore. I think she's B tier. And again, her use rate's cut a lot. Her win percentage is down as well. That knockback really, you know, makes her be able to be hit by the troops, which is proper. I do feel like she's actually balanced now and a lot less annoying than she used to be. Fisherman is definitely S tier, guys. Fisherman, and this is not an reaction, excuse me. He's the #1 win rate card in the game right now with a 20% use rate. You can make an argument he needs a nerf again. However, I'm not making that argument because I personally love the card. I'm really happy that he's meta again, but he is by far and away the best card in the game in terms of the stats. Flying Machine is C tier, balanced, but not OP. Again, Freeze, we're going to do the same thing. Fire Spirits, I'm going to put in D tier. I'm not going to put him in F with, it probably should be an F. I'll put him in D because the use rates, if we're going to listen to the use and the win rates of Fisherman, we have to listen to the Fire Spirits, which is the worst in the game, right down there. It's always bottom 5 in the game, but it fluctuates. Furnace is also pretty bad right now. I'm going to put it in D tier. The Goblin Barrel is actually, bait's doing really well. I'm going to put it in A tier. And we're seeing Goblin Barrel a mainstay, obviously, in log bait, but we're seeing it creep into other archetypes as well. I shared a giant Goblin Barrel bait deck recently as well. Royal Ghost is only really good in the Peck. I think that Royal Ghost might now be in the running for worst legendary after the Fisherman received his buff, just because he's a solid card. I think his radius needs to be improved, or his swing speed needs to be a little bit improved, just a fraction. Because I feel like he's not, even with Swarm, he's not doing the job he was intended to do. It takes him so many hits sometimes. You can easily counter him with a Skarmy. Doesn't seem like it should be, right. And also, what's up with the Royal Ghost? I thought he was supposed to hover over the water. What's up with that? So anyway, Giant is B tier, just a solid card. Remains a solid card, has been for a long time. Goblin Gang, B tier. Goblin Gang is a really great card too. Goblin Giant also, his win rates and his use rates are tremendous, but it's largely because of Sparky. For that reason, I'm going to put him down to C tier. Use rate's kind of low, obviously, because he's only really played in Sparky decks. Still, he's a weird card in that he has a niche, and that's it, man. If you see Goblin Giant as the first card from your opponent, you pretty much know the next card. It's going to be Sparky, right? So I don't like that fact about him. Otherwise, still has good win rates. And if you buff him, you also buff Sparky, right? D tier for Goblin Hut. It's kind of crap card now after the nerf. Didn't really need the nerf on Furnace and Goblin Hut, but I think a lot of people are happy because not a lot of people like spawners really in the game, right? Next up is going to be Gobbos. Gobbos will put C tier. Not as good as Goblin Gang. One extra elixir gives you a lot more value, but still completely average / above average. Golem is going to be A tier. I think that Golem is really, really strong. Actually, with all the Fishermen going around, I think Golem was A tier last month. This month he's going to be B tier. Fisherman, great counter to Golem. Great King Tower activation. So I feel like he's still incredibly good. I do think that Golem should get maybe not a nerf, but I think he should get a rework to where he does I've been saying this for a long time. Shouldn't be doing 500 to 700, whatever it is, 1,000. What is it, 1,000 guaranteed damage if he gets to your tower at max level? That's ridiculous, man. If he dies on your tower. The damage from Golem should be coming from the support cards, not from the Golem dying, in my opinion. Anyway, Graveyard's going to be A tier. Incredible win condition right now. Great card. Giant Skeleton's going to be B tier. Giant Skeleton's back in the meta or in the meta for the first time in a long time. He synergizes well with Fisherman. Basically, everything kind of revolves around Fisherman right now, right? Fisherman and Giant Skeleton we're seeing in balloon decks. We're seeing in basically every archetype in the game. Because of that, Giant Skeleton's really solid too. Giant Skeleton also counters Fisherman because if you play into a Fisherman, when your opponent cycles it in the back, you get guaranteed tower damage on the Giant Skeleton being pulled into the tower. So, Giant Skeleton is popular right now. Compared to where it used to be. Guards, I'm going to say, are C tier. They're good, but they're not, OP or anything like that. They're very balanced. Heal Spirit's going to be A to S tier, excuse me. One of the best cards in the game. Just incredible card. Some people are going to be shocked by it. Hog Rider's always a tricky one, right? I want to put him C tier. I think I'm going to put him B tier. His use rates are high, his win rates are low. That could be indicative of the fact that a lot of people play him, and a lot of those players might not be good, right? Obviously, just by percentages, a lot of them aren't. So bringing his win rates down, game-wide, his win rates are 47% right now. So not below average in terms of win rates, but he's still incredibly popular, always will be popular, and just has a knack for getting to the tower, scoring that extra hit. So I will put him B tier. Royal Hogs are going to be A tier. I don't think they need a nerf, but I think they're incredibly strong. I think they're better in a vacuum than the Hog Rider. Minion Horde, I'm going to put in It's either C or D, guys. I'm gonna put him in. I'll put him in C, just like Barbarians. They're not meta right now, but they're viable, you know, in some situations. Lava Hound I'll put in B tier as well. I think that Lava Hound's great, but just definitely not super meta right now. Hunter though, oof, it's weird, right? Hunter is one of those cards that was probably B tier, C or B tier before Fisherman buff. Now Hunter is everywhere. He kills a lot of these other popular cards. Golem, he's good against Royal Hogs. Phew. I'm going to put him A tier. I'm tempted to go S on him, though, because he's so good. Probably the #1 card that we see with the Fisherman. But I want S tier to be very exclusive, so we'll put him in A tier. But again, that's other card dependent, not him in a vacuum necessarily. Ice, if I was to put him in S tier. Ice Wizard is still a really solid defensive card. One of the best defensive cards in the game. I'll put him in B tier. Inferno Dragon will put in a C tier. Really good card. Solid. Average. Ice Golem, I do think is honestly A tier right now, guys. I think that it's still, for 2 elixir, you're getting the slow that will kill bats, another S tier card. You're getting that amazing kite opportunity to, you know, half the cards in this game when they're coming down the lane. Basically anything non-target tower targeting. I think the Ice Golem is just an incredible card in the game. Ice Spirit I will put in A tier. I think that Ice Spirit and Skeletons probably belong A, but they're all cycle cards are all 1 elixir cycle cards are incredibly good right now. Knight I will put in B tier. I've always been a fan of the Knight and thought that he was in a weird way underrated in the game. I think he's a really good card. I'm gonna put Lightning in C tier. It's average and solid. Again, C tier to me means like solid, good, you know, but not great. Lumberjack we will put in, again, solid. He's really good right now, but I wouldn't quite call him B. You know what? Maybe I would. I'll put him right along Knight in B tier. Log is A tier. You need it for so much in the meta right now. Look at these other cards, right? I mean, against Royal Hogs, it does so good. Against Bait, it does incredibly well as well. And it's one of the best legendary cards in the game. Magic Archer is back. I think he's B tier. He's not as strong as he once was, but he's still an incredibly good card. Miner is A tier right now. I think that Miner is still an incredible card in the game, but he's not S tier like he used to be. You know what? You can make the argument Miner's still S tier, but I'm gonna put him A tier. A tier is still excellent, like way above average, right? Because B is above average, A is like tremendous, and S is like, oh my god tier, right? So minions I'm gonna put in C tier. They're okay right now. Mirror is just broken. It's so niche. I'm gonna put it D tier. Needs a rework really badly. Mega Knight is very solid right now. I'm gonna put him in, it's either A or B on Mega Knight, guys. Let me know what you really disagree with. If it's just 1 tier or 2 tiers, like if it's a difference between S and B, you know, that's probably just how we define these tiers. I'm going to put him in A tier. I think Mega Knight's great against 3 Musketeers, right? Against Royal Hogs. It's a really solid card right now. I think that Mega Knight is actually a little bit better than P.E.K.K.A. right now in the meta. Mega Minions, always a great card. I'm going to put him in B tier. Not super popular right now. I think that Mortar actually is in a rougher spot than it has been in the past. I'm sure a lot of you Mortar viewers right now watching will empathize that it's just average right now. It's not awful, but it's not where it once was in A or maybe a B tier. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is still solid. I'm going to put him in B tier, right alongside Lumberjack and Knight and those kind of options. Musketeer, really good. I'm going to put Musketeer in A tier. Musketeer and E-Wiz, just incredible defensive options. Night Witch is really good right now because of the clone, and your Golem is so good too. So I'm going to put Night Witch in right with the Golem. Again, though, she is niche, so you're not seeing her outside of Beatdown, but that said, I still think she's a great card. P.E.K.K.A. I'm just going to put in the C category right now. P.E.K.K.A.'s really good in bridge spam. That's really it for P.E.K.K.A., you know. So you see some P.E.K.K.A. balloon decks here, you know, here and again, but at the end of the day, despite Golem being very good right now, I just feel like P.E.K.K.A.'s been in way better spots in the game. Let me know if you would disagree with that. I'm sure that P.E.K.K.A. is one of those cards that some people just think is so strong. Some people think, she's seen her better days. You can make a case she belongs in B. I'm going to go with C, just in solid. Poison, we're going to go right up here in S tier. I think that all like Poison, Log, Fireball, I think I think spells are too strong in this game right now, guys. Prince is B tier, really solid. He got that buff, he never got a nerf, and I think he's a really solid card right now. I don't think he's quite as good as Dark Prince, just my personal opinion. I'm sure a lot of people watching right now prefer Prince over Dark Prince. Let's keep it moving here. Wow, we've been going long on this video already. I thought it was gonna be like a 10-minute video, but apparently ranking this many cards it takes a long time. Princess is great right now, B tier. Elixir Pump is pretty bad in D tier. You're not seeing too many Three Musketeer or Golem decks with Pump anymore. Rage is incredibly niche, but average. You see it in the Rage Sparky decks. Ram Rider is B tier. Ram Rider is a great card, especially you don't see a lot of pros playing Ram Rider. You see them playing rather the Battle Ram. However, I think that Ram Rider is actually just an incredible defensive option, and she's not that high skill. So a player like me, I really prefer in a lot of like bridge spam decks Ram Rider to the Battle Ram. Rascals are C tier, just solid. Dude, A tier all the way for Royal Delivery. I think it's one of the best spells in the game right now. Fisherman is really good. Fisherman. Royal Giant is really good in the game right now, but I think that's a lot to do with the Fisherman Hunter combo, which we're seeing, and the Heal Spirit combo, and these faster cycle Royal Giant decks. I think that in a vacuum, Royal Giant hasn't really changed, right? He didn't get any big balance changes. I think he's a solid card, great win condition, a little bit above average right now, so I'll put him in B tier. Next up is going to be the Rocket. I'm going to put it in B tier as well. Not as strong as the Fireball and Poison, certainly, but all that being said, I still think that the Rocket is just annoying, and still, like we talked about with the other spells, I do think that spells are too strong in this game. Royal Recruits, F tier. There we go, adding something to the F, right? Royal Recruits are just a crappy card outside of draft. I do think that Royal Recruits can be good in draft situations, but so many times your opponent is just able to get so much value off the Royal Recruits. Skeleton Barrel is going to be A tier, still an incredible card. You're seeing it take the place of other cards in log bait decks. You're seeing it in Mega Knight bait decks. You're seeing it really everywhere in minor cycle decks. Skeleton Barrel, one of the better win conditions in the game right now. Inferno Tower, I'm going to put it in B tier with all the beatdown going around. We're seeing actually more Inferno Tower now than we are the Bomb Tower. I think that justifies putting it one tier above, and it's also the best emote. Let me know if you want to see an emote ranking video. Starmie is actually average to above average. I'm going to put it in C tier. Skeleton Dragons. Guess what, guys? We're going all the way with A tier, ranks to baby D. Skeleton Dragons, I think people are overreacting to the nerf on Skeleton Dragons, honestly. I still think that the reason we're seeing actually, they're not overreacting. It's just the card's not on boost anymore. The win rates actually improved after the nerf. How is that possible? It's because no one had it maxed anymore, right? Or most of the players didn't have it maxed. So the win rates went up. The use rates went way down because it wasn't on card boost. I do think the card, though, is still really, really solid. A tier. Same as Baby D, right? I think it's incredibly viable. We're seeing it a lot in grand challenges. Skeletons, we already talked about. All the cycle cards are good right now. I'm going to put it in A tier along with the Ice Spirit. And then next up, Snowball. I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to put Snowball and Zap into A tier. I don't think they're as good as the Log and the Royal Delivery. However, you know, you could easily make the case they are, just personal preference. I still think they're way above average. Sparky, I'm going to put in B tier. Yeah, I think B tier. She's still really good and really threatening, and I still panic when I see her, so I'm going to put her above C, but I don't want to put her A tier just yet. I think that we'll let the meta settle a little bit. Spirit Goblins, I'll put in C. I'll put in B tier. I think they're above average. Tesla is really just a really strong defense. I said that Inferno Tower is the strongest defense right now. I think that Tesla is probably right there with it. Let's see. Tombstone, I'll put in C tier, average in the right deck. Tornado, I'm going to put in A tier, personally. What do you guys think of Tornado? I still think it's one of the strongest cards in the game. I think there's mixed opinion on Tornado on this list, but yeah, you guys let me know if I'm wrong. Valkyrie is a popular card who has very low win rates. So I'm going to put Valkyrie in... This is a tough one. I actually really like Val. I'm going to put her in B tier, even though she has low win rates. I don't think she needs a buff. And I don't think she's average. I think she's above average. I think she's a great card. Maybe it's just one of those cards that is an OG card. People have her leveled up, and because of that, high use rates, and just like the Hog Rider, high use rates equal lower win rates because everybody's using her, right? Especially in mid-ladder. So for that reason, I'm going to put her in B tier. I think she's a great card. I'm going to put Wall Breakers all the way up in A tier. I don't think they're S tier. I do think they're really, really, really good, though. Great win condition for 2 Elixir. You just can't go wrong. Even if you screw up, you're still looking good. F tier for Witch. Witch is in an awful, awful spot right now. She does need a buff, but you don't want her to be a terror on mid-ladder. But I think that she's going to be my last F tier card, guys. Just not a big fan of the Witch right now. Zappies! Zappies are still going to be D tier. They were F tier. Zappies were F tier, and then they got a buff. Now they're up to D. I think they need a little bit more to put them in the C category on the average. You can actually use Zappies, just like you can use Royal Ghost in Goblin Hunt and Furnace and Bowler. I mean, most of these cards you can actually use and still have a fine, viable deck and still win some matches with. However, I don't think it was enough. I think it's still a little bit below average. Wizard, same thing. Of course, Wizard, you know, it's the age-old argument. Wizard on ladder, when leveled up, when over-leveled, is amazing. Wizard in a vacuum is not a good card. I don't think we saw any Wizard in all of CRL. I think maybe one match. I forgot who played it, but one match. Oof, man. There's just better options, you know. Wizard is hurting at 5 Elixir right now, unless you have him over-leveled in mid-ladder. So that's why he's a challenging card to balance. Last but not least, Expo. We're going to put Expo in the B tier. I think the Expo is just fine. In the Spell Cycle deck is still viable. 2.9, the same people who have success with 2.9 are still having success in the game. So in the interest of not making this video over 30 minutes long, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what cards I was really, really wrong on. Let me know what you agree with and disagree in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and a huge shout out to Geyser, the new channel partner here on the channel, Bren Chong, and of course Stutts Royale. Thank you so much, and as always, take care, guys.